Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And please remain standing for the invocation by the Reverend Renee Canales of Our Lady of Hope Parish. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will ask you please to bow your heads for a moment as we remember Mexico in the earthquake, as we remember the Caribbean, especially Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Barbuda, all those islands, all the small islands, all these people that they struggle. As we remember all those also who are being honored today. We celebrate more than documents and events that reflect our history as a people of faith in the United States. Hispanic Heritage Month. Today, millions of Hispanics feel at home in more than 5,000 towns and parishes and churches everywhere that we go. So many people of every country from Latin America that we represent here or is represented here. Yes, we have come a long way. As Hispanics, we unite ourselves to the rest of the nation in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. We celebrate those who have come before us, people who lay foundations, open doors, and build bridges or collaborations in understanding. We admire their creativity and persistence, fully aware that we are standing on the shoulders of giants, but we also celebrate those among us today who wear the Hispanic Latino heritage with pride as they strive to serve and build up the fabric in the society of the United States. For we Hispanics are a joyous people. We celebrate the presence of God in our midst, for we are hardworking people. We celebrate the presence of God in our midst, for we are people with a call, with a mission. For we are a people who will never surrender. For we are a people that will celebrate God's presence within us as we continue to wander in this promised land, confessing people. God Creator offers life abundance to His people. God Redeemer walks with us side by side. And we pray for all those who have laid their lives for our nation, for our way of life, for our freedom in our country. We pray for you today that that you continue to build up this society. More than ever, you and I were called to be beacons of hope, beacons of justice, to be bridges, to bring societies together, cultures together, people together. And we pray that God will continue to bless you as you walk the path of justice and peace. Amen.
This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designates the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using an electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record, and we request all those that are wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Schmidt?
Present.
Mrs. Stubbs? Present. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mrs. Trotta? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Lechner?
Here.
Chief Earl?
Here.
Mr. Carliner?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here. Before we go into our presentation, we have a proclamation for National Hispanic Month. If you bear with me, I'll read the proclamation. Each recipient tonight will receive that proclamation in addition to other awards that will be presented to them. During National Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate the accomplishments of Hispanic Americans who have helped shape our great nation. We are grateful for the many contributions Hispanic men and women make to our society and the vibrancy they weave into our American culture. From America's earliest days, Hispanic Americans have played a prominent and important role in our national heritage, and Hispanic Americans continue to embody the pioneering spirit of America today, demonstrating a steadfast commitment to faith, family, and hard work. Hispanic Americans lift up our communities and our economy as entrepreneurs, executives, and small business owners, and make contributions in such areas as science, art, music, politics, academia, government, and sports. In fact, Hispanic-owned small businesses are the fastest growing businesses in America, starting at a pace of 15 times the national average over the last decade. Hispanic Americans own more than 3 million American businesses and serve with honor in all branches of the armed forces, continuing a strong legacy of dedication to our country that has seen Medal of Honor awards awarded to 60 Hispanic Americans. Hispanic Americans are a testament to American promise that everyone can succeed in the United States through hard work. Hispanic Americans strengthen our bonds with our Latin American neighbors with whom we share a rich history. We are united with them, hemispheric solidarity based on a shared commitment to democratic principles. To secure a more prosperous, free Western Hemisphere, we're working to advance and maintain democracy in the region and secure free and fair trade among regional partners. This month, we recognize the countless contributions of Hispanic Americans that help make our nation a thriving and secure land of opportunity. To honor the achievements of Hispanic Americans, the Congress by public law, as amended, has authorized and requested that the President issue an annual proclamation designating September 15th through October 15th as National Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, therefore, I, David Mayer, Mayor of the Township of Gloucester, and I, Orlando Mercado, President of the Gloucester Township Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2017 as National Hispanic Heritage Month. I call upon public officials, educators, librarians, and all Americans to observe this month with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand this 25th day of September in the year of our Lord 2007. David R. Mayer, Mayor, and Orlando Mercado, Council President. Ms. Ortiz.
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Jacqueline Ortiz, and I want to welcome everyone to Gloucester Township observance of the Hispanic Heritage Month. On behalf of our Mayor, David Mayer, the members of the Council, and the Hispanic Heritage Month Committee, I am pleased to have the opportunity to welcome you here tonight, so bienvenidos a todos. Our country observes National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th every year. During that time, we celebrate the cultures and contributions of peoples whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, as well as Central and South America. Hispanic Americans have played a key role in our country's proud heritage and the building of our nation. It is fitting that we take the time to deepen our appreciation for this important and vibrant culture. Our nation's diversity has always been one of the strongest assets, and the Hispanic American community is a valuable component of our multicultural society. Para mí es un honor estar esta noche con ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. I know the program says that there is a musical component at this time, but I believe that was unfortunately the gentleman had a medical emergency, so you're left with me. But you don't want me to sing, so that would clear the room very fast. But I welcome you here. Father Rene, thank you for joining us and for the invocation. And as the Father mentioned, we also keep in our thoughts and prayers those who are suffering from the ramifications of the recent hurricanes, who don't have what we have and what we take for granted today with electricity and with food, and we keep them in our thoughts and our prayers. So I have the great honor of bringing forth this evening's first recipient. Before I do that, I would ask Father Rene to please join me, because it was Father Rene who nominated Norberto Cruz. So Father, please join me. And Norberto, why don't you join us as well, please? So welcome. So when I read what Father Rene sent in, I was looking over all the accomplishments and the activities that Mr. Cruz is involved with. And I looked at him as the Father listed them out and described them, and I thought, oh my goodness, he may be busier than me because of all the activities and all of his commitments that he has to St. Jude's Church and Our Lady of Hope Parish. Mr. Cruz is the Hispanic youth minister at St. Jude's Church, making a difference in the lives of our youth. He is the catechist for our children in religious education. He's a leader among the Hispanic community at St. Jude Church. He's also the director of maintenance at Our Lady of Hope Parish. He is very involved in all the youth activities with the Diocese of Camden, and he ministers to the homeless. A man with a great heart, and I can see that just from what I have read, and now I know it from meeting him. And I want to just read a couple words that Father put in writing here to describe Mr. Cruz. He writes, "Personally, I have never encountered a more zealous person who loves his church and his community like Mr. Cruz. His heart transcends creed, race, and culture, and he exemplifies what being a Latino is all about." So, Mr. Cruz, I congratulate you on receiving this award, but more importantly, I thank you for what you do for the church, for our community, for the youth of Gloucester Township. And I present to you this recognition today.
This past week, I was in a Hispanic priest conference. I was in Milwaukee. Imagine that, all the places, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we went to a German restaurant. And I was talking to the waitress, and she was all dressed up in the German type traditional dress code. And she said, "You guys are Latinos?" And there were three of us. We were now wearing our clerics. I said, "How do you know that? How can you tell? Can you tell?" She's like, "Yeah, I can tell." And she spoke to us in Spanish. We were like taken back because she's full-blown German. I'm pretty sure she was born here, but she speaks the German language still. And she says, "Oh, I love your language." And she started talking to us in Spanish, and we say to her, "How do you know Spanish?" She says, "My uncle was a priest." And we're like, "We're priests too." Oh, that was it. Yeah? And she said, "My uncle was in South Dakota." South Dakota. As he was a German priest, he decided to go to work with the Latinos there, with the migrant workers at that time. And she said, "You guys You got to be proud of yourself, of who you are, what do you do, not only as a priest, because as a priest we work for the church in the United States, regardless creed, regardless color, regardless faith, whatever. We are a Catholic priest, but we work for the church no matter who they are, right? To us, we know, I'm from El Salvador, but I'm a priest first. I work for God and for the church, and we know that. And she says, it's good to be recognized. And as I was telling her that this week, or this month, we celebrate Hispanic Heritage. And all of you who are here, all those who are nominated, remember, we come a long way. Be the bridge. Be the bridge. Be not afraid to show who you are. And this man, Norberto, I've been working with Norberto for the last, 8 years, I would say. In other parishes, I used to be my youth minister, and I came to Blackwood, to Gloucester Township 2 years ago, and he came along with me to help me for free. I mean, who will do that? Either you got to be crazy or you have to love the church and the mission, right? And I met his family, and then I understood that he gets it from his family. The Cruzes are called the family in Vineland. Mr. Cruz and Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, they were well known in church in Vineland, in the Catholic community, and he learned from them, from our parents, from our culture. And he's a New Jersey son. He was born in Vineland, New Jersey. He learned from his parents service. He has a twin brother, and his twin brother also is involved in the church in Vineland. So I saw this man. He was very humble, very quiet. Norberto was not the person who wants to be in the front line. And I said, Norberto, I need your help. He said, Father, I do anything, but please don't ask me to be in front of everybody. I said, no, trust me. I just want you to help me with the youth. And we built that up wherever we went. And 2 years ago, he came with me, and we start, building. And I seen the kids. They come with issues, with problems. They come to him. And they eventually come to me. Usually they're afraid, we're going to Father, right? The principal. And that's important. That's what I see, And Norberto, people come from on the Black Horse Pike. They come talk to him. He said, can we pray? Yeah, doesn't matter if you're African American or Hispanic or Anglo. He just prayed with them, and he just told them about the church, about the love God, that the love that he has for God and for His church. So that's why I was compelled, Mayor. As I've been here for 2 years, and I know there's so many people that we can put there as a name. But I'm thinking, this is a man. This is a man of God, a man of the church, and a man of the community who loves his community, and I'm thinking, what? This is it. Who happens to be celebrating Latino Month, Hispanic Heritage Month? This is who we are. No, doesn't matter what the news says. Doesn't matter what people say about us. We teach them, or we teach with humility, with peace, with kindness, that we're not that what the people say about us, right? This is who we are. And to show you, Mayor, we have the youth here. Some of the youth, can you guys stand up? Some of the youth, these are the people that never to work. It's about 30 of them. Oh my goodness, thank you. It's about 30 of them, but only we're going to bring the 30. Otherwise, you will not invite us back again. So you can see, and they're, citizens of this little town, this place is here, and this is, he represents the town. So I'm so grateful to God, and I'm so proud of Norberto and his family. His wife is with us, the community. And thank you for the opportunity, to the council and to you, Mayor, for giving us this opportunity to shine, because this is who we are. Thank you so much.
Okay. Mayor and members of this council, thank you very much for this award. And I would like to give thanks, and also I prepared a brief speech and a message for everyone. And I just, I thank you for your patience, and so here we go. Good evening, everyone. I am honored and grateful to receive this award, knowing that I have not done anything extraordinary other than what is expected of me by my Heavenly Father. I want to thank God for the gift of life, His love, His mercy, and the gift of service. Also to Father Zolak, our pastor, and all the priests that God has put in my life to guide me and teach me about the immense love of our God. I would like to thank my wife for putting up with me, for loving me, and for her support. But mostly, I would like to thank Father Rene for having chosen me to receive this award, for having put his trust in me. Thank you for allowing me to serve our community, our parish, and to serve God. Also, I would like to acknowledge the parents and the youth group of our community for allowing me to guide their children and for entrusting me to their care. Finally, I would like to leave imprinted in your hearts tonight a brief message with the means for us all to reflect and internalize. And how can we change the course of destruction this world is leading into? So it goes. We live in confusing times, and the world is in turmoil. Yet, intellectual people continue to minimize God's infinite wisdom and power, stating that all the things occurring in our world is due to climate changes caused by pollution and men, and many other scientific explanations that men can come up with, therefore minimizing God and putting a limit to God's power. I refuse to minimize God's infinite wisdom and power. God is the creator who continues to create and establishes a perfect order, because he is a God of order. Therefore, I know that God has a perfect filtering system throughout the whole entire universe, capable to filter and make anew anything that men put into the atmosphere. Must I remind you all that God gives us the means that we need to survive and gives us the intelligence to build and burn what he feels fitted and suited for our necessities. Scientific findings are only accepted by men who wish to take the place of God, and men who conveniently accept these findings because they find no logic or interest in God's immensity. I humbly wish to bring light into the hearts of men and remind them all that the only thing that has not nor can be filtered in our world, and which is the cause of the destruction of the atmosphere, is its sin itself. Sin can only be cleansed and forgiven by acknowledging, confessing, and repenting. The signs that we are experiencing, such as earthquakes, hurricanes, rumors of war, and many others more, are the direct result of our disobedience to a loving God, who is crying out to us all, repent and change your ways. We cannot continue to defy God any longer by calling sin good and the will of God bad. How long can we continue to disobey, disrespect, and hurt our Lord? The Lord will not be mocked for too long. Therefore, I plead to you all, open your hearts to the Lord and examine your conscience. Repent and pray for this world and others. Then things will change. Thank you for your patience, and God bless you.
Is Rose Bow here? Rose? Okay, I think I have found somebody who is as shy as me, believe it or not. They don't think I'm shy, but actually I am extremely shy. So let me see if I have this name. Nadia Lisbeth Ayala Claros. How's that? Good? I grew up in Lindenwold, and I think my fellow council people know that by now. But the reason why I bring that up to you is because I grew up in a home where there was a father, and my mother did not live with us. I think I was 4, and she was away at that time. And the reason why I think that's important is I look to other people to emulate, to be like. And I remember sitting in 7th grade history class, and I was very concerned about, at that time, a problem that was going on in Iran. I think it was the hostage crisis. And I couldn't understand why we as a great country couldn't rectify the problem. But I remember looking across the class and seeing these two twins, two girls in the class, and they were the standard for excellence. And when I met this young lady to my right, I thought of those two girls in my class. This individual to my right, I believe, sets the standard for excellence for people of her age. Now, granted, as an 8th grader, what can you really accomplish? What you can accomplish is you can be that person who is a beacon of hope and light for people of your age. Your kindness, the way you compose yourself, it's noticeable. And I believe that that's the person we have to my right. And the other thing I was thinking about is there's going to be a theme throughout the evening. And that theme is going to be, there are families of strong faith. And that typically is what happens on this evening. So now I'm going to read what someone who knows Lisbeth has to say about her. Nadia Elizabeth Ayala Claros is an 8th grade student at C.W. Lewis Middle School. Lisbeth, as she prefers to be called, is originally from El Salvador. Nadia Lisbeth has been in the USA for 5 years. At first, she was a very quiet and shy little girl, but in spite of her shy nature, all of her teachers, especially her ESL teachers, were amazed by her quick learning skills and love of learning. Lisbeth has a very pleasant personality. She is at all times kind and caring. When it comes to helping her peers, Lisbeth has true leadership qualities. Lisbeth is very helpful to her younger brother as well. She is a great sister, loving daughter, and a perfect student. Nadia Lisbeth wishes to be a science teacher when she grows up. Apparently she likes lab experiments and what else? She gets good grades too. I know as a fact that she can do anything and everything she chooses because she works hard and puts her heart into her work. Without a doubt, her beautiful personality and leadership qualities will carry her far in life. Congratulations, Rosebound.
Good evening. Firstly, thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank Jehovah, my family, my friends, my teachers, my principals that helped me get through here right now. And I'm proud of myself right now because I didn't really thought I would be here, but thanks to my teachers, I'm here. And thank you all for being here also. And that's it.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Tonight I have the honor of introducing one of the nominated students, and his name is Jalen Hunt. If you can come up, please. So Jalen is a senior at Timber Creek High School, and he was nominated by his principal and vice principal there. He's an outstanding student and is admired for his hard work and endurance. He's currently carrying a 3.33 GPA and would like to study business in college. He's starting to get all that stuff together. I remember those days. Glad I don't have to do it again. He's the vice president of his World Language Club, and he's involved in winter track, soccer, cross country, indoor track, and the green team. So he keeps himself pretty busy. He has a positive impact on everyone he meets, according to his principal. He's also respected by his classmates for his leadership skills and diverse interests. He's also trying to learn French, along with Spanish, and he loves to study the different cultures and learning all about them. So it's my pleasure.
would like to thank my family and my vice principal and my teachers. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring up Zuleida Nunez. Zuleida is a senior at Timber Creek High School, and she was nominated by her guidance counselor, Mrs. Harley, and her Spanish teacher, Mrs. Alacqua. They had a lot of nice things to say about Zuleida. Mrs. Harley says, Zuleida is dedicated, goal-oriented, ambitious, and a hard-working student. Zuleida has been one of the top students in all of her courses. Throughout Zuleida's high school career, she has taken all honors and advanced placement courses. Zuleida is open and willing to challenge herself to do her best and also inspire others to do their best. Her transcript reflects the effort, time, and dedication she puts into all of her work, which has given her a GPA of 4.2415. I didn't even know they went that high. And a class rank of 28 out of 295. I admire Zuleida's intellect, energy, capacity for work, and intensive drive to succeed. Zuleida is a distinguished member of the National Honor Society and the Spanish Honor Society. Zuleida is also a member of the Green Team, Art Club, and the Transition Project. Zuleida is a phenomenal artist. She placed second in the Camden County Art Competition and has won numerous art achievement certificates. And talking to Zuleida earlier, she's looking at a college in Georgia which will also use her artistic talent. But that's not it. Mrs. Alacqua has some nice things to say also about Zuleida. I have the pleasure of having Zuleida in my class for 2 years. She is a very caring and mature young lady. She possesses very clear values, especially when it involves helping others. I remember one time when a student was left out of a group and Zuleida volunteered to take the student under her wing. She was very generous and made the student feel part of their group. She's extremely polite. She always says hello when she passes my class in the hallway. Not many students her age are so charismatic. Zuleida is an officer of Timber Creek's World Language Club. She's an integral part of our group. She is hardworking and dedicated. They also left me with her transcripts at Timber Creek, and I have never seen a report card with so many 90s on there. So congratulations to you, Zuleida. But as Dan said, tonight there's a theme. But in looking at Zuleida's nice remarks from her teachers, I also found a common theme. And to be nominated for this award, we need to find exemplary citizens who have demonstrated certificate contributions in the area of community service or general good deeds that have impacted favorably on our citizens. And the things I highlighted in these 2 paragraphs that were sent by her teachers are, by Mrs. Harley, inspires others to do their best. And then Mrs. Alacqua says, especially when it involves helping others. Zuleida volunteered to take a student under her wing, generous, and made that student feel part of her, of their group. Now, you can't put a number grade or a letter grade on those attributes. That is something that's learned at home. And Zuleida is here with her parents, her sister, and her friend. And Zuleida is from our mayor, our council. Congratulations.
Well, I'd like to thank my counselor and my Spanish teacher for, out of all the students that walked through their office or classroom, for noticing me. So that was nice. And I'd like to thank my family and friends for always pushing me forward to do my best.
Buenas noches. So there is a theme. I'm gonna jump on that theme that my colleagues have talked about. We've talked about education here. And as I look around this room, you are products of our Gloucester Township Public School District, and you're products of our Black Horse Pike Regional School District. And sometimes there's people that disparage our school district. And they say that our kids aren't performing the way they should be. And you look around this room here, and there are people that have provided you the resources, whether it's your teacher, your principal, your vice principal, your guidance counselor. Today we have 2 Board of Education members, Mr. Gallo, who's the Vice President of Gloucester Township Board of Education, and Ms. Dentino, who's waved. She's the President of the Gloucester Township School District. These are individuals that volunteer their time and provide resources to our school district to enable you to make the contributions that you're making to our community. So one, I want to thank them. I want to thank our teachers, our guidance counselors, our educators, and our administrators. So thank you for being here. As the mayor said, our musical act, I found out at 5:30. So I'm telling you now, anyone who has any talent will take you. The pay is free. And if you can dance, sing, you're going to be up here next year, okay? So our next honoree is Melanie Rodriguez. Melanie? So Friday I contacted Melanie. First I contacted her mother, and her mother took my phone call like, who's this crazy man calling me? Then she gave me her daughter's number, and did your mom tell you I was calling? She texted you that quick? Oh, afterwards. So I call her, I tell her who I am, and I told her she was nominated by her guidance counselor, Miss Caniff. She is a junior at Triton High School. She's actively involved. I'm talking about actively involved in her school. She's a cheerleader. She's part of she's secretary of the class. She's part of the history club. She is part of the transition club. The transition club is when freshmen first come into high school, upperclassmen take them aside and they peer mentor them. They help them through transitioning as a freshman. My son, he goes to Highland. He's a junior there. And I asked him about his mentee. He goes, he didn't show up. So, all right, great job, Alex. But Melanie has taken an active role in that, and that was specified in the narrative that her guidance counselor provided. She has a glowing transcript. She has a GPA of a 3.93. She has ambitions of going to college. She had indicated that she would want to do criminal justice, but then she says, maybe I want to do something in nursing. And because of her love of people and helping people, in addition to being on the student council and a cheerleader, she is also a former Gloucester Township basketball player, played in the league. She has shown leadership and kindness in her heart. She's an outstanding individual, an outstanding young woman, and I'm so proud to have you as part of our community and proud that you are a product of our school district, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do next year in your senior year and when you move on to college. So on behalf of Gloucester Township Council and Mayor, I'd like to present this to you in its recognition of exemplary service, leadership, and dedication to the people of Gloucester Township. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank my counselor for nominating me, and my family and my mother for always pushing me to do harder and do good. Thank you.
So since we don't have any musical act today, Rosen Rosado. Rosen, can you come up for a second? Rosen and I is on our committee. She's the vice principal at Ann Mullen Middle School. And we were talking about the program a couple weeks ago. And I said, you know what, we should find a theme or talk about certain things that are happening in our community and in our nation. So I said, do we talk about DACA? Do we talk about the Dreamers? And the first time I ever heard about Dreamers, I used to work at Stockton College, and when I used to do admissions and recruit, and I would go to different neighborhoods, and we had outstanding students that had outstanding GPAs, but unfortunately, they would not get accepted to a four-year institution because they could not apply for financial aid, because they did not have a Social Security card, despite the fact that they were talented. And some of the reasons they didn't do this because then it would out their parents. So her and I, we were discussing this afternoon, and we said, you know what, let's talk about how our families came here to the United States. If you could just bear with us briefly. Rosen, you want to start?
Why not?
Okay, I was born and raised in Hamilton, about 25 minutes from here, but I'm a first generation Puerto Rican on my mom's side and a second generation on my dad's side. My dad was born in Brooklyn but raised in Puerto Rico. They're both from Ponce. But my mom didn't come here until the age of 20. And at that age, you know, she had been helping her younger siblings. She is one of 16. You know, she's the third oldest. 16, yes, 16, no TV. No TV back then, you know. So, and by the age of like 8, she had to drop out of school and help out with her siblings. So, you know, her education was only to 2nd grade. My dad, he went to school primarily in Puerto Rico, but then he finished off over here. Now, the thing is that both sides of my family used to come from Puerto Rico to work on the blueberry fields in Hamilton, you know. My dad's family, most of them stayed in Brooklyn, but my grandmother had moved to Moloka, you know, which is a part, like a little outskirt of Hamilton. And then my parents, when they married, they met in New York, but came over here to Hamilton. So that's where, you know, I was born on the little blueberry bushel. My mom, you know, she came here and she started working as a seamstress, as most Puerto Ricans would, you know, working in the factories to make ends meet. My dad, he's a mechanic, you know, auto mechanic, worked in Cherry Hill Toyota for the longest, but then he didn't want to work for anybody anymore. So he opened up his own business in Hamilton, you know, so he had his gas station on a corner and he had 2 bays where he did the mechanic work. Now that's how everybody then knew who the Rosados were, because of my dad. You know, he was a great mechanic. So then when I went to school, the principals and the teachers all knew who I was. So there were, and cops in town too, all knew my parents, you know, so there was no way of getting out of, you know, getting away with anything. But the thing is that through my parents, also the church was very important, you know. Church every Sunday, you know, that's where we were, praying and, you know, with the help of God, making sure that we could make ends meet and move forward, you know, never giving up. Both sides of the family ended up moving over here. There's a few family members that are in Puerto Rico right now, you know. Some of them have lost their homes, you know, but thank goodness that they're alive. So the material stuff will be replaced, you know. And I'm one of the first generation to go actually to college, you know. I have my master's in administration. My bachelor's is in elementary education and psychology. You know, so my parents always pushed for us to continue on. They didn't want us to have to work too hard and suffer. You know, they wanted us to move forward. So as assistant principal at Mullen, you know, I have wonderful children there. You know, I consider them to be my children, and very soon you'll meet my nominee, and she's exemplary. You know, her family is wonderful. They too came here, you know, to struggle, but they are entrepreneurs themselves, you know, and I think that's a theme to where everybody who's here has suffered, has worked through a lot, and you're successful, you know. So we come from the very bottom, keep climbing, and continue on. We don't give up. You know.
I teach a class at Canton County College, and I was telling my students that my father had a grocery store in Swedesboro. I grew up in Swedesboro. I'm first generation Puerto Rican. My father came here in the early 40s. My father was 22 years older than my mother. So he had a grocery store that he had for 24 years. And his business plan was simple. Swedesboro was a migrant area. There was a lot of farms there. Swedesboro, Woolwich, Mulliga Hill, Harrisonville, East Greenwich. My father worked for a grocer. If anyone's eaten Botto's Italian sausage, I was there for 6 years in that area. Okay, so he owned a store called King's Colonial. My father worked for him. And my father noticed that all the Latinos that were coming into the store, they didn't have the Goya products that they wanted. Everything was name brand or was Italian products. So my father said, I'm going to open up a store. My father was one of 7. He
had to leave elementary school at grade 3 after his mom had passed away. They had to go to work. As I said, he came here in the 40s. He started his grocery store in the mid-60s. It was called Tienda Mercado Bros, for brothers. That was abbreviated brothers. And it was him and his brother Augusto. And so he started this grocery store. And the Italian farmers in the area, they couldn't pronounce Domingo, so they would call him Dominic. And he's like, all right, Dominic, that works for me. And he made arrangements with them because you had 30 to 40 people that were working in the campo, the camps, on the farms. And the farmer would drop them off. They would buy their groceries. My father extended them credit. And if they didn't pay, the farmer took it out of the pay. But that was the arrangement. That was his business plan, a 3rd grade education. And this business thrived for 24 years until he passed away in 1986. So I look back at that and I think about the life that he created. Now, when he passed away, there was no money in the bank. There was no pension. There was no life insurance. But he did buy the building. And because he bought that building, my mom sold that building, has lived in her home in Swedesboro for the last 31 years without a mortgage. Sold that place and bought a new home. So he had the forthright to see that he wanted to own his own business and own his own home. And he also had free labor. So he was too lazy to pick up the phone. He would take the broom and hit the ceiling for me to come down and go work in the store. On my mother's side, my mother came in the mid-60s. She was from Malnabo in Puerto Rico. And my grandfather had sent for them. He'd worked as a migrant worker in South Harrison, Mullica Hill area. And he told them to come over here. My grandfather worked at a nursery, Sunnybrook Nursery, for 48 years. He didn't retire. Cancer retired him, prostate cancer. He beat it twice, the 3rd time it got him. He could not read or write. He had no formal education, but was one of the brightest men I ever knew. He signed his name with an X because he could not read or write. But he would sit there and he would talk about baseball. He would listen to the radio, very perceptive, and had a steel-trap mind. When my father died, he assumed the role of that paternal influence, a padre in my life. So these are the types of stories that we all have here, that we all come here. And for whatever reason, we came to this country or were born here. And when Rosalind talks about how her parents encourage her to do this, my dad's like, no, you're going to work at this store forever. But I'm the middle child. My older sister has a master's degree. I have a master's degree. And my younger sister, the smartest of all 3 of us, and I rarely admit it, is an attorney. And we all did those things. Because in 1986, when my father died, there was a time that we didn't know what was going to happen to us. It was just the 4 of us, my mother and 3 kids. We were eligible for welfare. We didn't take it. My mother couldn't make over $6,000 a year because she received Social Security benefits. But she said, no, we're going to make it. We're all we got. And we did it. And so we all have these stories. So when we hear these stories, and sometimes our so-called leaders want to talk about our people, we need to remind them about the contributions we made to this community and the people that are here today. So thank you for bearing with us on that story. Our next recipient is Michel Acevedo. So Michael, he's a curious guy. I don't need that. He goes, who nominated me? I said, I did. I didn't tell. I did. I nominated Michael. I've known Michael for about 10 years. We didn't have that beard. And he was this young guy that went to Rowan University. In fact, Mayor, was he in your class? He was in one of your classes. When he taught a class at Rowan University, the mayor, and Michael was one of his classes. Michael is a product of the Haddon Township School District.
He's been a resident of Gloucester Township for 15 years. He graduated from Rowan University with a bachelor's degree in political science in 2009. Prior to that, before he graduated, he started as a legislative aide for the former assemblywoman and former mayor of this town, Mayor Love, in her office. He was a legislative aide there. He was interning there. He got hired as a legislative aide there for the 4th Legislative District. He continues to work there. What's it been, 7 years, 8 years? A little over 8 years, okay? And he serves as the Deputy Chief of Staff to Assemblywoman Mosquera, Senator Madden, and also Assemblyman Moriarty. He received his master's degree from Rutgers University in 2015, his MPA, Master's in Public Administration. But what I like about Michael is the fact that he gives back to his community. He is an active parishioner at Our Lady of Hope. He contributes his time to the Cathedral Kitchen, feeding the homeless in Camden City. He's been part of my Relay for Life team. He serves here for the Gloucester Township Zoning Board of Adjustment. And his daytime job as Deputy Chief of Staff to the 4th Legislative District. He comes across many people that have many scenarios or problems, and he's a problem solver. I had to contact him last year, and I was on the phone bothering him, texting him, calling him about an issue that I needed to take care of because I needed to make sure that this was resolved. And he contacted me at all times of the day to tell me that he was working on this matter for me. And I appreciated that. But that's the same diligence and attentiveness that he has for all residents. So on behalf of Gloucester Township Council and Mayor Michael, I want to thank you for your contributions to our community. So serious, look at you. Smile a little. Your mama's here too. I saw her walk in. There she is. How are you? But I want to thank you for your contributions to our community, for your exemplary leadership and outstanding service and dedication to the people of Gloucester Township.
I guess in the interest of time, I just want to say thank you to Councilman Mercado, obviously all Township Council. Dave Mayer, actually the mayor got me involved. He was the first one that said, if I wanted to get involved locally in Gloucester Township when I was in his class. Also Assemblywoman Mosquera, who was here. And Father Rene, who, I don't know if you know me, I see you in church all the time, but... No, I'm kind of in the middle.
Did he leave before the offering?
No, I think only offering. Come on.
I said he was coming.
But I don't know if anyone's had the opportunity, if you go to Our Lady of Hope, just how inspirational Father Rene is. So I just want to thank him, because he's a very inspirational person. Anyone who leaves his sermons and his homilies, they definitely stay with you. So I just wanted to give him a round of applause if we can. That's it. It makes time. Keep it going.
Thank you. Gotcha.
Good evening. It is my privilege to introduce to you Benedict Laura Nunez. Benedict is a senior at Triton High School. He moved to the United States about a little over 2 years ago from the Dominican Republic. He is involved in Triton High School. He mentors other students with English as a second language. The staff at Triton speaks very highly of him and his his ability to lead other students and to teach them English and work with the new students coming to Triton. He is respectful, helpful, and a hardworking young man who is also involved in his history club and key club. Benedict is also involved in baseball. He plays for Aerial Baseball, and he enjoys playing basketball in the summer. And his goal is to graduate from Triton and proceed to Rowan University and follow his sister at Rowan. So congratulations, Benedict.
I want wanted to say thanks to my vice principal who's here, Ms. Shepard. Thank you for coming here. And I want to say thanks to my family for always pushing me to do hard at school. And thank you to you all for being here.
When you're down to 2, I don't have to go through the whole row. It is my pleasure to introduce Vanessa Marinetto, please. And she was nominated by Miss Rosalind Rosado. Rosalind, if you'd like to come up. You know, it's an honor when you get to speak about our students and the wonderful things that they're doing. But this young lady is exceptional. It really touched me when I read her nominating letter and even the words that she wrote. Vanessa was nominated by her vice principal at A.M. Mullen, Ms. Rosalind Rosado, and she states that she's an 8th grade student who is cheerful, respectful, dedicated, and a hardworking young lady. That's a lot of adjectives for an 8th grader, a lot of adjectives. She is a member of the cross-country and track teams at Mullen Middle. Vanessa is also the historian in the Honor Society. One of the things that struck me, and I've heard my colleagues mention threads here, and the love of God, the love of family, and the spirit of hard work and entrepreneurship, which Rosalind touched on, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Vanessa comes from a loving family where her father and mother are looked upon as role models by her and her sisters. They are entrepreneurs. Dad, I believe, a transportation company, and Mom, a salon, who had goals, dedication, and vision. Their belief is that the sky is the limit when achieving one's dreams. Vanessa is dedicated to her family, who mean everything to her. Her parents arrived in this country very young. Mom was 20, I believe Dad was 13. And they worked hard to achieve their dreams. She's very proud of her parents. They taught her right from wrong, and she admires their tenacity to provide for her and her sisters through sacrifice and determination. This is an 8th grader recognizing this. Vanessa's favorite subject in school is social studies. She enjoys learning about the past. She is greatly influenced by Miss Rosado because she is a proud Latina and inspires her to strive to be a better person. What better could you ask? Vanessa is deeply influenced by her love of God, her religious beliefs. She's an altar server at church, and she attends every Thursday and Sunday, and has been blessed with the opportunity to have served in America's 5th largest cathedral 3 times, which is located in Newark, New Jersey. That's quite an honor. She wants to be a missionary when she grows up, to help others, and specifically immigrants. She wants to put she would love to put a smile on people's faces and guide them to a better life, which really struck me with everything that's going on right now in the Caribbean. She would be perfect for that right now. I think I can give us all a better understanding of why Vanessa is here as an honoree of our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. She demonstrates her true grace and understanding of her blessings with her response to this question. Is there anything you would want others to know about you? And her response, I always try to make my parents proud, so now with the help of God, I know that I have. Thank you, Jesus. Congratulations, Vanessa.
Buenas noches. Quiero decir primero gracias a Dios, porque sin Él no estaríamos aquí. Gracias a mi padre, a mi familia, todos ustedes por siempre soportarme. Gracias por todo. A mis hermanas, las amo. Gracias a Miss Rosado, una latina bien fuerte. Gracias por todo que usted nos hace en la escuela y en la comunidad. Quiero mucho.
Les diré que esta niña sinceramente es muy humilde, es muy cariñosa, le encanta ayudar, sin frontera esta niña, tú sabes, es así, es que es un ejemplar latina. Ella sí que va a aumentar a muchas cositas bonitas, superiores, y vas a lograr todo lo que tú quieres.
Awfully dangerous to put me as the last person to speak. I've got so many thoughts going through my head as I sit here and I listen, I contemplate everything that's going on around the world. It's very difficult to refrain from commenting on a lot of the things. But my next recipient, let me see if I can pronounce this name right. Sophia Aguirre. Yes? When I met Sophia, I asked her a question. I said, what would you do? What would you change in this world? It was a tough question. I caught her off guard. I did. I don't have an answer to this question. But she didn't have an answer per se, but she said she would work on immigration. And I thought about that. And I really don't have the answer, and I don't know if Sophia has the answer to that. But it led me to other thoughts, and I'm sitting up there tonight and I'm saying, this young lady wants to be a lawyer someday. What would she do as a lawyer? Well, she could be part of government, which made me think. A lot of people in the community, across the nation, across this state, have a negative opinion on government. They believe government is what they see on TV. That's not government. That really isn't. Government is what steps in when you have a catastrophe like these hurricanes. Imagine the world without government, trying to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Maria, Jose. That's what government is, and that's what we need. So, the next time you see somebody say something in government that you don't agree with, let that opinion be directed at the individual and not at government. Ms. Paulette Cahoot wrote a letter regarding it. She said, "It is my honor to recommend Sophia Aguirre as a nominee for the Gloucester Township Hispanic Heritage Month honorees. I have had the pleasure of getting to know Sophia as her school counselor throughout her high school experience. Sophia is a member of the National Honor Society who never backs down from a challenge and consistently selects the most rigorous academic curriculum available at Triton Regional High School. She always works hard and puts a full commitment into all that she does. In addition to her academic achievements, she is talented at volleyball and has played for her community team for a number of years. Through her involvement in the Key Club, she has participated in multiple community outreach projects. She has also been an integral part of multiple theater productions at Triton and also participates in the Academic Challenge Club. No matter what is happening at school, Sophia is always willing to get involved and does so with enthusiasm. So, if you do become a lawyer, I leave you with one thought. I visited Turkey a number of years ago, and I'm walking down the street, and I realized that nobody spoke my language. I felt alone. I didn't know who to turn to. Someone approached me and helped me. At that moment, I decided that when I got back to the United States, I, as an attorney, would help others who did not speak my language. And that is what I've been attempting to do. So I challenge you, so you do the same thing. So thank you. You are most deserving recipient.
I would like to give thanks to the faculty at my high school who has supported me throughout all these years that I've been there, and I'd like to give special thanks to my family, to my mom, to my sister, got it right there, and for supporting me and believing me even when I, had trouble believing in myself. So, thank you.
Well, I'm just glad Orlando did not sing. We've had a lot of themes this evening, and one of those themes, as Dan mentioned, was the standard of excellence in his first remarks. And I have the opportunity and the pleasure of introducing to you someone who brings excellence with her each and every day, and I have the opportunity to work with her each and every day as the Chief of Staff to the Mayor's office. Yes, she gets to tell me what to do. And she brings excellence with her in her responsibilities as our State Assemblywoman here in the 4th Legislative District. So please join me in welcoming Assemblywoman Gabriela Mosqueda.
Buenas noches. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes, compartir este honor, celebrando nuestra cultura, nuestras experiencias aquí en los Estados Unidos. So I just want to say good evening. It's an honor and pleasure always to be here to share my culture and our experience here in the United States. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually an immigrant to this country. I was born in Ecuador. I'm a naturalized American. I'm very proud to be an American because this country has given me an opportunity that, as we all know, those immigrants that come here, there's no other country in the world that allows us to do what we want to do, that allows us to pursue our dreams, that allows us to become what God wants us to become. And I think every day that my parents have decided that to come to this great nation, this nation that has given me everything. So as a little girl, I always knew that I wanted to give back to this great nation. So I decided that I wanted to be in government. At being in the 4th grade, I really didn't know what that was, but all I just knew that I left it to God and I prayed to God that this is the path that He wanted me to be moving forward to be on, and it surely was. If you asked me 10 years ago that I was going to have the honor and the privilege to serve as an elected official, I would be laughing because I never really saw myself in that, but God did, and my family did. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So I am very honored to serve as a legislator. Very honored to be, a resident and a citizen of this wonderful community, Gloucester Township, a great citizen of this wonderful country. And I just wanted to say, looking at everybody, all the recipients, and listening to everyone here, it's amazing how much talent that we have in this township, and it is beautiful to see. Another theme, I know that we have this going on, this theme thing, but what I see and listening to everyone is the passion that comes out of what you do. So I just want to say thank you to all the recipients. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for sharing that with us here in Gloucester Township, with the residents of New Jersey, for the citizens here of the United States. You're going to make wonderful contributions. I am looking so forward to seeing, especially the young students, looking so forward to seeing how you evolve and grow and how you're going to contribute to this, not only great nation, but to this world, because we need positivity and you are the light. And I just want to say thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Gabby, for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us this evening, and I want to thank the committee for their hard work in putting this together. Council President Mercado, our council, and all of you for taking time out to recognize individuals who give so much of themselves to others who work so hard. I will tell you that I believe the future is very bright. When I meet these recipients and we talk to them and we hear their stories, we see how much passion that they have and how hard work that they put into their lives. The future is really bright. Because I heard words tonight like respected, well-grounded, dedicated, hardworking, inspiring, kind, conscientious, strong faith, loving. We do live in challenging times. All we have to do is turn on the TV and just look at any newscast. There are many challenges that are facing our nation. And in many ways, our nation is divided, unfortunately. But we're not divided here in Gloucester Township. We are united. We are united in recognizing people who give back to this community. We're united in understanding that it's through service, whether it's to our church, to our community, to one another, that is what makes a community strong. So I congratulate all of the recipients this evening, but more importantly, I say thank you. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for making a difference. We are so grateful, and I have to tell you, I am so proud to be the mayor of this great community, and that's because of all of you. So I thank you for joining us here this evening. I would ask that when we close or take a recess, that the recipients please come forward so we can get a picture. But thank you and have a great evening. Thank you.
We're going to take a 10-minute recess.
How are Good, thank you. See you. How are you?
I want those glasses. They are so cool. I need those glasses. Mine are up there. I know you need them, but they are too cool.
Oh, yeah, right. I've heard that.
I wish you
Oh, they did.
He looks so cute. Stand straight up. How do you get it to stand straight up? Oh, sure. Oh, he's really Yeah, that was a good way to fill the gap in the story.
back at the microfiche machine and my clothes up front on the back machine and she kept doing it. Find something. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison? Present. Mr. Schmidt?
Present.
Mrs. Stubbs? Present. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mrs. Strato? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present. We'll now have our first public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wish to speak, please raise your hand and address the council at the microphone. Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. Bid report.
Public Works Building Rehabilitation.
Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next is ordinance 0-17-24. There will be a public hearing on this. Was ordinance amending Chapter 67A of the Code Book of the Township of Gloucester, entitled Property Maintenance Code, Article 4, Responsibilities of Owners and Operators applicable to all properties and enforcement. This is providing notice requirements by the public officer in contacting persons either personally by registered mail or hanging or leaving something on a homeowner's door, notifying them of a summons. If they are unsuccessful in that, they may also publish this in a newspaper for 2 successive weeks. I now open the public hearing. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs? Yes. Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next, we have our resolutions on the consent agenda. Any council member who would like to remove any item on the consent agenda, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Stubbs. On the question, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Prior to giving my vote on this, I wanted to take a moment and read something about the resolution 1709-270. Ray, you've asked a number of times about grants and different things about these grants, and so I try to take a look once in a while, I guess. And I came across this one, and it said, it's about Detective Tarantino. His name's Matthew L. Tarantino. He demonstrated a deep commitment to community outreach, particularly the DARE program, helping the Summit Police Department to become a 2017 recipient of the Attorney General's Outstanding Community Policing Award last month. Now this was written in June of 2017. He's deceased, by the way. Tarantino was promoted to detective posthumously after he tragically lost his life in a motor vehicle accident on May 30th of this year. Detective Tarantino was respected and beloved in his community because he embodied all of the best qualities of a police officer and a role model. Selflessness, compassion for others, and an unshakable dedication and enthusiasm for his calling, said Attorney General Perino. I have had the privilege of meeting Matthew and hearing him speak last month when we honored him and recognized his department for their outstanding community policing efforts. Because he was a visionary in the area, it is only fitting that we hold Matthew up as a model of community policing and public service. We urge police departments across New Jersey to seek this funding and bring us their innovative ideas for community policing, said Director Eli Honig of the Division of Criminal Justice. In the end, the hallmark of a strong police force is mutual respect and trust between its officers and those they serve. Community policing fosters relationships of collaboration, trust, and understanding between law enforcement agencies and their communities. Law enforcement agencies acting alone can rarely solve the difficult public safety problems facing communities in today's world. Only with meaningful public support and engagement can law enforcement agencies begin to confront these complex issues and effectively protect and serve the public. To aid police departments that wish to enhance and improve relationships with their communities, the Attorney General's Office is offering this grant program to fund multiple community policing projects across the state that will promote positive interactions between police and community members. I stumbled across this, and as I'm reading it, I'm reflecting on yesterday's games in the NFL. And my wife and I were fighting all weekend about this stuff. And when I read this, I thought of Gloucester Township and Chief Earl, because I believe Chief Earl is a visionary. And I truly mean that. I think that this police department that we have in this town is spectacular. Its stated goal, prior to any of the issues that Colin Kaepernick really brought to the forefront, in my opinion, Chief, you were working on this before all of this. So I just wanted everybody to know what they're voting on tonight, and give you a compliment. So I vote yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs? Yes. Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. We did not receive any GTE government access emails. Now open up our second public portion. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidoro from the historic village of Ariel. I have a question because I've seen it out and I just want to get facts right. I'm sure Mr. Mignon would want to address this. The fall season for the children of the Field of Dreams, what had materialized from that fall season and what was the end result and why, please?
Mr. Before you answer, Mr. Mignon, would you like to answer that?
Yes. Sorry. We're not going to have a fall season. We only had 4 sign-ups. So with that, we couldn't proceed with filling a team, and we weren't able to have a fall season.
Okay. Was there any conflict with the field scheduling?
There was none. There may have been, but that was not the reason why. The Field of Dreams was canceled because, like I said, the 4 kids, plus when I contacted all the parents, they had other activities that the kids were participating in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And again, thank you for your efforts on that.
Mr. Mignon, if I could just piggyback. Mr. Mignon, am I correct in saying that the Hockey Association has started a league as well, or a group for special needs children as well?
That is correct.
Some of those students have registered for that, but you expect a full complement of players in the spring.
Yeah, we're starting already promoting our spring season, reaching out to our database of parents and schools. And yes, GTHA and Councilman Winters, you'll be able to recite this also, but they started a Challenger League. And unfortunately, they also said that they're having some issues getting the kids, because the children are involved in other activities, which is a great thing. But yeah,
And the season will go uninterrupted. They will take priority over whatever activities are going on at that complex for their respective season.
Absolutely, 100%, no doubt.
Thank you. Once in a while, I come up here and compliment council in this township, and I'll do it once again at a time where our country and a lot of areas around are having great difficulty. We lead off our council meeting with a prayer and an invocation, and once again, my compliments for that. Mr. Hutchinson's comment on some of the things that are going on with the football games that were yesterday and the protests that were being exemplified on the field. Our country's motto is E pluribus unum, out of many one, and yesterday one stood out. Alejandro Villanueva was the only Pittsburgh Steeler to walk out onto the field.
captain in the U.S. Army and Army Ranger. Irregardless as to what your position is in local politics, national politics, and I certainly hope that it does not bleed down and our children use that as a protest. There's a man that could be anyone's hero for what he has done and certainly what he did. And I would like to think that as a group, as a local town, we recognize that the same. And it doesn't mean that your protest should alter the way that we think of our country or our flag. And again, once again, another wonderful night with great people doing great things. And Father said tonight, if you're ever short on someone that did invocation, he'll always be around, so we'll never need to miss one again. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Ms. Shirley, Sean, oh.
I know you're glad to see me.
As always.
Everybody has a flyer left in their chair. That was me. I was the ghost. That's just the invitation for our ribbon cutting. And plus, to give you a general idea of some of the things that we're going through and trying to correct in Brittany Woods. And I would like to thank Chief Earl for his officers that's been coming out to our community and interacting with our kids and helping us when we have some kind of incident that we need their help, and how they handle themselves and how they treat the people and how they treat the kids. And I just also want to thank the Department of Public Works again, and I'll be doing it a lot because they're doing a lot for us. So, you know, you talk about unity, this event that took place tonight, that was a surprise because I would not have been dressed like this. I felt kind of funny. I thought it was encouraging. You know what I mean? Because I look at Brittany Woods and say, you know, one day maybe some of my kids will be standing up and getting, you know, something like that. You know, so, yeah, I love Brittany Woods, and, you know, we got a really, really good thing going here in Gloucester Township, and I just want to thank you and thank your officers, please, for me, that I appreciate them coming out, talking to the kids, and helping us straighten out a lot of situations that could have went a different way. They were really, really good. Really good. Okay? Don't forget, you're coming down the slide board.
October 15th. Thank you, Ms. Shirley. Sean?
Good evening. Sean McDonough from Blackwood Estates. Before council tonight, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the mayor's office, police department. More importantly, I'd like to thank Public Works and the Recreation Department for our new State Street Park. They've done a fabulous job. They've been a big help getting through the process and everything. Unfortunately, over the past week, we had some vandalism in the playground. After speaking with Bill Fagan in the Recreation Department, our playground is one of the most vandalized playgrounds in the township. With that being said, I would like to petition the council, the police department, to help us get a camera installed in the playground so that we can protect this investment for our children for the future.
I directed that to take place.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are aware of this and everything, but I wanted to just make the formal petition to you guys, and in hopes that we could possibly get something done.
Sean, that'll be placed on our workshop agenda for next week, and I know Mr. Carson is working on that, and also the issue that you brought with the playground and the naming of it.
Okay.
We'll be discussing that at our workshop next week with a vote on the 11th, because we have Columbus Day, the offices are closed, so we'll have our council meeting October 11th on Wednesday.
Okay.
So our workshop will be October 2nd, correct? October 2nd, we'll have it on our workshop agenda with a vote to take place on the 11th of October.
All right, sounds good.
So if you want to be here at that discussion on Monday, October 2nd at 7:30,
okay,
you're more than welcome to be here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Carr.
Joanne Carr, Timber Birch. My dad got his absentee ballot today, and I was hoping you could clarify one of the questions for me. I'll read the interpretation, since that's really clear. Okay, the first question. Take the glasses off. Approval of this bond act will allow the state to sell $125 million in state general obligation bonds. Proceeds from the bonds will be used to provide grants to construct, expand, and equip public libraries. Here's my question. Municipalities or counties that fund public libraries will match the grant amount. The municipality or county may solicit private funding to support its match, and so on. So I'm confused, and I'm asking, am I going to get taxed by the state for this grant? And then am I going to get taxed again by my municipality that has to match the grant?
Well, Ms. Carter, if you take a look at your tax bill, you support the Camden County library system.
Right.
And we're part of the library system here that's located in downtown Blackwood. I don't know, Mr. Carter, are you aware of this particular bond and the impact it could have? Ms. Carr, let me follow up on that, and I'll probably speak to the Assemblywoman about it and see if she knows about her office, and maybe they can do some digging for us.
I'm sure it probably all washes out, but I just want to be told that it's all going to wash out, and I'm not getting double dipped.
Okay.
And I appreciate the library's needed. I appreciate that, but my pocket does too. So one other thing, the Historic Committee is going to be sponsoring a ghost event Saturday, October 7th. So if anybody's interested in coming, a good time is had by all.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Sorry to point at you.
No, that's okay. Hi, my name is Karen Brown, and I live in the Blackwood Estates. And actually, I've come here tonight to just reiterate what Sean was talking about. I actually live right across from the park, and I do try to keep an eye on everything. I'm actually the block captain for our area, but I noticed that a lot of times it's after dark and it's like 8:30, and I kind of feel funny when I see like maybe parents that still have kids there, and I know that I'm like supposed to tell them to leave the park because it's closed. So I kind of don't know how to go about telling people when they shouldn't be there. In speaking to Sean, he's like, well, you really just need to call the police department and have them come out and do that for you. And I just wanted to know what is it that you would need me to do to help to make the park be a little bit safer for me living across the street.
Karen, thank you for your comment.
Yes.
First, is there signage there that says that it's open from dawn to dusk?
Yes.
So it does have that. Large print, updated, the signage there, or is it the sign
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Chief, is there anything you would recommend that?
Do you want, I can call the police department if I see someone after dusk, but I don't know what your protocol is. What would you like me to do?
Generally call. If you see anything out of the ordinary or anyone in the park, just call us and we'll respond. Probably the non-emergency number, 228-4500 would be best. But if you feel it's an emergency, by all means, 911, they might just tell you to hang up and call the 228-4500. Call, and we'll certainly send an officer out and check it. Never discourage that at all.
Okay. Do you also want me to give my card number for
Your
the
neighborhood watch number?
Yeah.
Certainly can't hurt. You can call anonymously, so you don't have to give your information. Your neighborhood watch number adds some credibility to the call in the event.
Okay, then I'll make sure I do that when I do that. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Have a good evening. Anyone else? Mr. Williams.
I wasn't going to say anything, but as the meeting went on, I had to write some notes. We moved here again 36 years ago from New York, and just like to say this could be my last meeting, only because we purchased a house in Holiday City. In a way, it's sad. This township has laid the foundation for my wife and I's 4 children, education-wise, and from what we've seen here today, in all aspects of education and religion. Now, we've had 4 children go through Gloucester Township schools. The 4 children, the boys, one of the boys has his college degree. He was the first one of my whole family being from Western Pennsylvania, Coal Town, to get an education from college. The other son has his master's. I have a daughter who is in the public school system in Gloucester Township, has her master's, and then I have a daughter who has her doctorate in physical therapy. The foundation was laid by Gloucester Township Public Schools, and that's exactly the way Pat and I feel. I'd also like to say that we have 8 grandchildren, again, right now that are in, 7 grandchildren that are in Gloucester Township Public Schools. They're doing extremely well, and we're very happy for them because of the township's teachers, educators, principals, vice president, principals, and everything. And the way they communicate with their students is just nothing short of fantastic. While we were here, of course I'm a little outspoken. I've had my ups and downs with the Public Works, with Kevin, but they do an absolutely fantastic job. I mean, whether it be the snow, picking up leaves, and everything else. But since he's taken over, he's done a great job. And I guess last but not least, council members also. Orlando and council members, I think you address everything that we are asking, and you're doing really a fantastic job, and you put your heart and souls into it. But again, last but not least, I'd like to thank the chief. No matter what we asked for, the chief, the township police, I asked for Server Jokes to have, maybe we could have a little more police presence. They were there. And no matter where we go, we see that police presence. You know, sometimes hiding behind a tree or something, you know. But, and again, I know I speak for my wife, my family, but I'd like to thank everyone very much.
Mr. Williams, before you go, you did a remarkable job with your children. And I had the experience of getting to know you about 8 or 9 years ago. We wore Sturber Jokes together because you had some concerns about your playground.
Yes.
And we took some time that afternoon and we walked in that neighborhood. And I appreciate all the comments you've made over the 8 or 9 years you've come here since I've known you. You're a call it as you see it type of guy, and I appreciated that from you. It's our loss that you moved into Holiday City. Maybe one day we'll catch breakfast at Geet's Diner because it's down the street. I know you like the diners.
Oh, absolutely. Tuesdays and Thursdays, the 3 of us, we retired and we iron out all the problems in the township and the world.
Is Geet's back open again? Is Geet's open again? It's
The what?
All right.
We can go for the grand opening.
Pete's, the one on Pete's.
Oh, no, we go to Lamppost.
Lamppost, all right, Lamppost, that's closer for me. All right.
Thank you.
Jim, good luck.
By the way, Orlando, I can say, Jim, your daughter did a wonderful job with my children.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Calling the directors.
Mr. Lechner?
I have nothing to report, thanks.
Chief Carl?
Nothing to report, thanks.
Parliament?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Hutchison?
I said it all tonight. Thank you very much for coming.
Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for your comments. Congratulations to all the honorees. And once again, thank you to the committee and President Mercado for all their efforts. Have a good evening.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Thank you for coming out, everyone. It was a wonderful program. Again, it's always enjoyable to see kids thrive and do well. Thank you for coming.
Mrs. Winter?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. As always, it is always a great service. It's enjoyable to watch, and especially seeing the students and wondering what their futures will bring. Have a great week.
Mr. Mignon?
Everybody be safe going home, stay cool, and congratulations to all our honorees tonight. Thank you.
Mrs. Strada?
I would like to congratulate all our honorees this evening, and as Miss Shirley said, it's very encouraging. I wish that I could bottle up just Gloucester Township to see all the encouraging things that are happening in our town with Brittany Woods, watching the transition that you all have made to make your community and the place where you live a better community is just, it's very inspiring to the rest of us and the students and that come and to see them honored and see what they bring to the future. It's very encouraging to the rest of us. So thank you and have a great week, and as Michael said, stay cool. Mr. Mercado.
Thank you for coming out this evening. I want to congratulate all our recipients. And there's a few announcements. The Pumpkin Festival is this Sunday in downtown Blackwood, 11 to 4, I believe. 11 to 4. And on October 7th at Timber Creek High School, there is a drive-in movie theater that evening. Jumanji's going to be playing. The mayor got this idea because him and his wife went to the Landis, the Bible movie theater, Delsey Drive-In. And they said, maybe we should do this in town. So there's going to be a drive-in movie theater at October 7th at Timber Creek. It'll hook up to your car, the sound. It's a free event to the public. October 14th is Citizens Appreciation Park, where new names will be affixed on the monuments there at Citizens Appreciation Park in Glendora. And last but not least, at our last council meeting, one of our colleagues that sits up here had attended our council meeting. His mother had passed away that day. And I advised him to stay home, and I threatened him to stay home, and he did not. And I was remiss in recognizing the fact that Mr. Carl Lemaire's mother had passed away, 95 years old, and lived a long, wonderful life. So, Mr. Carl Lemaire, on behalf of the council and our township, our sympathies to you. It's your family. Thank you all. For that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. For a second, all those in favor? Thank you. Have a good evening.